What if ancient myths, legends, weren't just stories,
Mm.
but maybe part of a deeper ongoing mystery? Imagine a world where a specific narrative claims huge historical truths are being hidden,
Okay.
and maybe even that there's some kind of contemporary threat brewing right under our noses, challenging everything we thought we knew about history.
That's definitely a provocative way to start.
Yeah.
And yeah, today we're doing a deep dive into some source material that presents a, frankly, startling theory about giants.
Right.
And it's not just, creatures from the past. The source is arguing they're a current phenomenon
Ah.
with huge implications for us for our future.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really unpack the specific story being told in this audio source. It's called "Why is the Government Hiding Living Giants on Earth?" 2016, a must-watch.mp3.
Quite a title.
It is. We'll dig into the claims it makes, its connections to ancient texts, even modern military programs, and this idea that it's not just about, finding old bones, but a cover-up spanning thousands of years with a very specific modern endgame.
Okay. So where should we start? What's the absolute core claim
Well,
here?
let's start right there, the core assertion.
Okay. The source basically says there's a big lie being pushed globally.
A big lie.
Yeah, the idea that aliens created humankind.
Ah, the ancient astronaut theory, essentially.
Sort of, but the source sees it as a deliberate distortion, something designed specifically to hide what it calls the true biblical origin of giants.
Okay, so if that's the big lie, what does the source say is the true origin, the biblical one?
Right. According to this material, giants are the result of, well, fallen angels having sex with earth women.
Okay.
And this created a new race of hybrid beings. The source points to the term Rephaim in the Bible.
The Now. Got it.
And what's interesting is how the source points out that, many people snicker at this idea.
Mhm.
It interprets that reaction as proof, almost, that people have already closed their minds to this interpretation.
And this isn't just ancient history for the source, is it? It connects this directly to prophecy.
Exactly. It's not just some old story. The material points straight to Matthew 24,
Okay.
where Jesus says, just as in the days of Noah, so would it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man.
Right.
So the source takes this to mean that the presence of giants, maybe even now, is a key sign of our current times, fulfilling that prophecy.
Okay, so building on that, this isn't just a footnote. The source claims there's this massive, multi-thousand-year cover-up about giants.
Yeah, a deliberate effort.
To keep this biblically relevant topic, as it calls it, quiet. Why? What's the supposed motivation for hiding something like that for so long?
Well, looking at the bigger picture the source paints,
Oh,
the goal of the secrecy is supposedly to create a situation down the line where they can claim whatever they want to claim.
maybe.
It doesn't always specify, but the implication seems to be powerful groups, maybe the ones pushing the alien narrative.
Okay.
So the idea is this cover-up allows them to eventually present the gods who made us, which the source equates with aliens as our creators.
Ah, diverting from the source's preferred biblical origin story of giants.
Precisely. It sets up a counter-narrative.
That's a huge claim, a cover-up lasting millennia. Does the source name names? Who's supposedly perpetrating this?
It does point fingers. It talks quite a bit about institutions like the Smithsonian.
Okay, the Smithsonian Institution, what's the accusation there?
The source alleges a bias at the Smithsonian, a sort of contempt for out-of-place artifacts.
Out-of-place artifacts, okay?
It claims that whenever giant bones were supposedly found, and it lists places like the West Coast, Arctic, Antarctic, East Coast, the Ohio River Mounds.
So all over.
All over.
Mm-hmm.
The claim is they were sent to the Smithsonian and then, poof, never heard from again,
Yeah.
followed by denials that they ever existed.
That's a very serious charge against a major institution. Does the source offer any, specific examples, any proof for these disappearances?
He gives one specific example, the famous Kincaid expedition to the Grand Canyon.
Kincaid, Grand Canyon.
Okay, according to the source, they found an Egyptian citadel there.
In the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, and the source makes a point of saying this wasn't some fringe report. It was apparently even covered by the Phoenix Gazette newspaper at the time, only to be, subsequently covered up and denied later on. That's the claim.
Okay. And beyond the artifacts, the bones themselves, what about people? What does the source say happens to anyone who might actually have proof?
Well, this is where it gets darker. The source claims people with evidence are intimidated, sometimes threatened, or even disappeared.
Really?
Disappeared.
That's the assertion. It tells a story, an anecdote, about a man named Marius from the Solomon Islands.
He supposedly claimed to have irrefutable evidence, but was terrified. The source quotes him saying something like, "I'm being followed and I'm not sure I'll even make it there alive."
Yow. That's intense.
It definitely raises the stakes in the narrative.
So, moving on from these historical claims and alleged cover-ups, the source then makes a pretty sharp turn, right? It starts talking about modern giants.
Exactly. This is crucial to the source's argument. It really hammers home that this isn't just history, not just old bones.
It calls it a contemporary threat.
Yes. The core idea is there are modern-day giants now. And importantly, it stresses these aren't people with, say, acromegaly or some known medical condition. These are something else.
It offers some pretty vivid details to back this up. What about World War II?
Right. It brings up World War II reports, specifically about cannibalistic giants in the Solomon Islands.
Cannibalistic giants.
Yes, stating that U.S. and Japanese soldiers were reportedly eaten.
Eaten? Good heavens.
The source is very direct, saying the Solomon Islands are riddled with stories of cannibalistic giants and even living giants to this day. It paints a picture of a very real ongoing danger there.
And then it gets even stranger, if that's possible, the super soldier program.
Ah, yes. This is a major piece of the source's modern narrative, allegedly involving the U.S. military.
The source itself seems almost taken aback by it, calling it one of the most unbelievable yet so believable programs. What's the claim?
The claim is that serious money and effort are going into finding the bloodline, the genetic traits, the gene prints of these giants by extracting DNA from dead and extractable DNA from their teeth, from whatever cells in the mummies, and crucially from literally living giants today.
Okay. And the goal?
To, and I quote, insert giant genes in our soldiers to give them the super soldier ability.
So weaponizing giant genetics.
That's the core assertion, yes. Super strength.
But it's not just strength, is it? The source talks about mental abilities, too.
Right. It claims giants also possess superhuman cerebral capabilities.
Cerebral capabilities? Like what?
Well, it gets very specific. It talks about living giants potentially being held in a stasis state, like suspended animation in underground bases.
Where?
It mentions locations like Russia, referencing a Dr. Ernest Moldosif, and also the mountains of Tibet.
Okay, giants in stasis. What about these cerebral powers?
The source claims these entities emit enormous amounts of cerebral energy. So much that there's a kind of invisible boundary around them, a red line, it calls it.
A red line.
Yeah. And if you cross it, the energy can supposedly drive people mad or make them almost come apart at the seams.
Thinking it.
The ultimate weapon, according to the source.
Wow. Okay. And there was something else about DNA, how they hunt?
Yes, that ties in. The source claims these entities hunt by DNA. They can somehow lock onto a target's specific harmonic.
Their unique frequency.
Something like that. And this is where it makes that really unusual connection.
It's a nursery rhyme.
Yeah. Fee fo fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. It links that idea to the biblical concept of the cry of the innocent blood of Abel.
Suggesting that blood has a signal, a frequency these giants can detect.
That seems to be the implication. That your very blood broadcasts who you are, and they can tune into it.
Okay, so if all this is happening, the cover-up, the modern giants, the super soldiers, the psychic powers, what's the end game? What's the ultimate agenda here, according to the source?
Well, the source ties these entities and their powers to a group it calls Luciferian globalists.
Okay, that term again.
And it claims their desire is to see every last human being destroyed.
Destroyed. And replaced with what?
In its place, a hybrid. The ultimate goal, the source asserts, is basically theological, to prove that God's a liar.
How?
By introducing this new creation, this hybrid being. It uses terms like the Uberman or Superman, a replacement for humanity that supposedly invalidates God's original creation.
And again, it brings us back to the Bible.
Directly. It quotes Jesus again. If the days weren't shortened for the elect's sake, there'd be no flesh left alive.
Implying that prophecy refers specifically to this.
To this alleged genetic tampering and genetic destruction, yes. That's the source's interpretation.
Given this really quite alarming narrative, what does the speaker and the source say they are doing about it?
Right. The speaker positions their work, associated with the Gen 6 productions, as a direct counter-effort.
Gen 6, like Genesis 6.
Presumably. Their stated mission is to provide correct information, eyewitness testimony, and basically the truth about this whole multi-thousand-year situation.
Okay.
And they contrast their approach with, say, mainstream documentaries, which they say just look in a rearview mirror at history,
Whereas their focus
on
is...
the giants that are, not just the giants that were,
Yeah.
present tense, contemporary threat.
And the source is pretty critical of how media handles related themes, too, right?
Oh, definitely. It takes aim at Hollywood movies. It specifically mentions the movie Noah.
What's the criticism there?
It claims movies like that distort biblical history, portraying the fallen angels who it calls the Watchers as maybe sympathetic or good, and figures like Noah as maybe flawed or bad. The source sees this as a deliberate attempt to insert their own history, their own narrative.
Replacing the biblical one.
Exactly.
So how does the source wrap all this up? What's the final takeaway?
It concludes by saying that all the current interest we see in giants, in movies about the times of Noah, isn't accidental.
Yes.
A neon sign, a clear indicator, according to the source, that we are in the days of Noah right now.
Wow. Okay. So we've just walked through a really provocative set of claims here, challenging standard history, proposing this hidden past, this urgent present, all wrapped up in a very specific biblical interpretation.
It's certainly a dense narrative,
Yeah.
and the source itself suggests that understanding these claims can be, well, heart-freeing. That's the word it uses.
Heart-freeing. How so?
By helping you understand, supposedly, the headlines, the movies, and the ultimate plan and scheme for your destruction. It positions this knowledge as protective.
Right. And it ends on a note of reassurance within its own framework.
It does. It quotes Jesus saying, "He never leave us nor forsake us," and asserts that the truth will make them free, provided people abide in the word of the Lord.
So quite a journey through that source material. As you, the listener, reflect on this, maybe consider what it means when figures from myth and ancient texts are framed not as history, but as active present-day threats.
Yeah, and how narratives like the one we've just unpacked might influence how people see the world, how they interpret current events. It's definitely something to think about.